Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein II were very influential musical theater composers of the 1900s. To this day, they are the most successful partners in Broadway musical history. They have earned countless Tonys, Oscars, Grammys, Emmys, and even 2 Pulitzer Prizes for their work. Rodgers and Hammerstein began collaborating in the 1940s. Rodgers described their process in an interview.
Of the people you have worked with, Hammerstein and Sondheim wrote the lyrics first, and then you wrote the music. But all the early years of your composing with Lawrence Hart, you wrote the music and then he wrote the lyrics. Is that right?
That's right.
Did it make a difference to you as a composer which came first?
No, it still doesn't.
Didn't the lyrics in some way suggest the music to you?
Yes, in that way it's a big help.
Mm-hmm.
But it also is confining to a certain degree.
Is it? I mean, the meter is set for you, so you have to write to that meter?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I find that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages.
The advantage of having the lyric?
Having the lyric.
Uh-huh.
It sets you going, gives you something to write to and about.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow.
Rodgers and Hammerstein's first musical was Oklahoma, and it was originally performed in 1943. Though it seems like a standard and typical musical today, it was groundbreaking at the time. It was the first musical that successfully meshed the plot and music together. In the past, musical acts were treated as diversions and were not essential to the plot. Oklahoma changed this. The music was integral to the plot and helped to move the story along. This method transformed musicals, and they were never written the same way again.
I got a beautiful feeling, everything's going my way.
Rodgers and Hammerstein wrote several more Broadway musicals throughout the 1940s and 50s, including South Pacific, The King and I, and The Sound of Music. They also wrote the musicals State Fair specifically for the movies and Cinderella for TV. All were very popular at the time they were premiered. However, many of these musicals have been adapted for the big screen, including The Sound of Music, which won an Oscar for Best Picture in 1965. Hammerstein passed away in 1960, and Rodgers passed away 19 years later. Their musicals remain popular to this day, and are frequently performed in high schools or revived on television or on Broadway. Cinderella is currently running on Broadway, and The Sound of Music was recently performed on NBC. It is clear that Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals are considered classics and will likely continue to influence musical theater in the years to come.